I went to hell before. Pretext: before I go into it, I was definitely at my lowest point in life, but it was not known to my conscious self yet. I had a job that I hated, though it paid good enough for me to maintain the shitty lifestyle I had. I was selling drugs to college kids cause I thought it was cool and that drugs were actually beneficial to society. I thought I was fully alpha and would do what I want, eventually pissing off my roommates and a majority of close friends. I was mostly agnostic throughout high school but completely abandoned thoughts of it in my early 20s. I even adopted a phrase I thought was super cool: heaven sent, hell bent. You will see how ironic this turns to be. So on for the story. I was hanging out with a girl I'd hook up with every once in a while and her boyfriend at the time and his friend. They wanted acid, which I sold at the time, so I sold them some tabs and even cut out 2 tabs for myself since I had already made my money back on the sheet. We smoked, drew, and drank some beers waiting for it to hit when we decided to watch Fantastic Mr. Fox. I started to feel very odd, almost unexplainable. My soul felt like a glass figure perfectly sliced in half. There was a slight feeling of unbalance between the 2 halves. I eventually shot up and felt like I was being watched and that I was part of an MK Ultra test and that the feds were coming to get me. Everyone tried to calm me down and ask what was wrong and I couldn't really explain it. They grabbed me water. The movie was just opening as I sat down and tried to control my breathing, but I knew something otherworldly was coming. The couch felt fake and I checked behind it to see if the reality I knew was still there. Before I turned around, I paused as I felt an eclipse-like feeling in my soul. While still capable of visualizing reality, I could see 2 fiery, thin circles move to a tangent position in my head. I turned around to see the girl had gotten me water and had a discerning face. I felt unease towards the water but picked it up. Now get ready for some horror movie shit. Fantastic Mr. Fox opens on a scene of Mr. Fox on a hill under a tree with a monologue towards the audience by Mr. Fox. The scene was beautiful, but this is when I was getting sucked into another world because Mr. Fox did not say what was on the script. Instead I heard, in George Clooney's voice too, "Anon, you have lived a shameful life. And this is your judgment." I was terrified but did not move. I assume the people around me thought I was fine by now and went to sit and watch the movie. The being I suppose was either God or the devil told me a lot, most of which I cannot remember. But it assured me to drink the water broth, so I sipped it and watched. By the time I was halfway done the glass, he told me it was time and that I if drank the last bit of water glass I would never taste it again. At first I was hesitant and looked to the door, and he assured me that even if I left it would not change what was about to happen. I chugged the water and immediately saw light outside the window glow of a mushroom cloud with the soft sound of an explosion. It turned into cop lights. My heart was pounding so I closed my eyes and laid on the couch. I saw no more fractals, but the 2 circles. Now blue. They morphed into a fetus and held background to what I consider a slideshow of my life to date. The position of the fetus made me feel slightly insecure, as I am a C-section baby. I wonder to this day if that was the most dated part of my brain remembering the womb since everything felt quite calming to this point. Almost to a point of solace like a normal acid trip. I cannot remember the transition, if there was a trigger or not, but then I remembered falling like an astral elevator down to the depths of what I presume was hell. There was this piercing, grinding sound equivalent to a sink garbage disposal with metal and bones stuck in it. It smelled like pure shit. Actual feces. My entire essence was hot. And the only thing I could see were the flames around me and 2 pig people maniacally grinning. They had rusty medical tools and were ripping my insides out in front of me. Eventually they stuffed me in a glass case of flames and watched me squirm. On a side note, after this incident I looked up many interpretations of hell. I found that this is literally the same thing that happens in Dante's Sixth Circle. They tortured me and told me many prophecies. The most notable was that I am living in the rise of black men and the fall of the white man. Another was that I would not be saved no matter what, and that the judgment already happened in 2012. Eventually I started to break open the tomb and I saw swirls of reality come back. My friends were trying to calm me down, but I still could not fully see. I was fighting them and spazzing out, shouting a bunch of shit. I remember when I could fully see again, I saw the girl and shouted, "I love those big titties." I started to slow down with the uncontrollable convulsions, and I was just tired. Her boyfriend lent his hand out and I grabbed it. He pulled me off the couch and we hugged it out for a good 5 seconds. Night got way better after that and was more like a normal acid trip. My friends say it only happened for about a minute, but I felt like I was stuck for eternity. We all basically blocked it out as if it were response to a traumatic event. I only started to really think about it a few months later when I had another intervention. I still have not watched Fantastic Mr. Fox.